On this week's edition, we'll introduce you to the superintendent of the Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park and tell you about all the wonderful assets that the National Park Service has here in our community. Today I'm standing on the beautiful sunken road in Fredericksburg, the pedestrian part between Lafayette and Hanover, and I'm with Mr. Lewis Rogers, who is the fairly new superintendent of the Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park. And we wanted to introduce you to Mr. Rogers. The National Park Service is a huge part of what draws people to Fredericksburg, and what the work that they do is hugely important for our community. So, Lewis, first of all, welcome to Fredericksburg, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So tell us a little bit about your career with the National Park Service, and then how you ended up the superintendent here in our area.
Well, I've been with the National Park Service for 39 years now. I started out as a resource manager, natural resource management. I immediately got into law enforcement and progressed up through the ranks. I was superintendent at Petersburg National Battlefield for about 12 years, and after being at Petersburg, coming to Fredericksburg was a natural transition, because Petersburg is another Civil War battlefield. It's got a number of different units, and so many of the things that we did at Petersburg are the same things that we're protecting and doing here as well.
Okay, and you've been here now for about 6 months.
Yep.
And talk a little bit about some of the incredible assets that the National Park Service has here in our area.
Some of the things that I think are really unique about the battlefields, and the battlefields in the different areas that people don't realize, is that we are about story and place. When the National Park Service is at its best, we tend to intersect with story and place, which means we know the stories, we know the actions and the things that have happened, and we keep it and we tell those stories right in the very place where they happen, so we can actually point to those various areas. So we have a number of battlefields in Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania County, and part of us is in Stafford as well, that tell the story of the Civil War and the things that occurred in this area and why it was so important, why it was such a strong desire, motivation for people to get out here and to try to fight for the things they believed in.
You do such a great job of telling that story. People can, start here at the Visitor Center on Lafayette Boulevard, and then your office is over at the beautiful Chatham over in Stafford.
Right. Yes, so we have the Visitor Center here. We also have a Chancellorsville Visitor Center, which is out in Spotsylvania County. We have another location down in Spotsylvania County, which is a fairly large battlefield. So we're kind of spread out.
And you've got some obviously beautiful assets for people just to walk around and stroll and learn the history. So talk a little bit about some of the programs that you all put on a regular basis in our area.
Sure. I mean, we typically have guided tours that we'll do. We'll have rangers that go out and do tours, and rangers that do walk. Every now and then we'll do special events. We just celebrated the 160th. We brought a number of reenactors into the area, and that went on for about a week.
Yeah, it was a great event as always. Mm-hmm. And so what are some of the goals that you have for the Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park during your time here as superintendent?
My biggest goal, which aligns with the Park Service's goals, is to protect, preserve, and tell the story. Part of the Park Service mission is to, we call it to protect for future generations. We want to make sure that people have the opportunity to come out and enjoy it, but we want to do it in a way so that our children, our children's children's children will have the opportunity to come back as well. So we've got to be, very careful about how we play in the park, how we enjoy the park, and so we manage in order to protect, preserve, and to tell those stories.
Well, y'all do a wonderful job doing that, and we're so happy to have that in Fredericksburg. Again, it's a huge part of our draw to our community is the amazing work that you all do. People looking to find out more information, you have a web presence. What's the best place for people to go to read about the assets?
Type in Fredericksburg National Military Park, National Park Service. It'll come up with a .gov, so you can go on the website and find out just about any information you want to find out.
Yeah. Well, Lewis, again, we're so happy that you're in Fredericksburg, and we welcome you here and wish you a lot of luck during your tenure here as superintendent. And again, thank you for all the good work that you and all of your colleagues with the National Park Service do. We're delighted that you're here.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So that'll do it for this week's edition. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next week.